So what actually is a psychopath? Because as we spoke about, we're not necessarily just talking about that criminal side of things. So where do they show up more in everyday life?
Okay, well, I think it's looking at the 4 different areas that represent psychopathic behaviour. And the 4 areas are like an interpersonal side of things, affectively or emotionally, in their lifestyle, how they tend to act, and then with antisocial behaviour. So in terms of their interpersonal ways of relating to others, they tend to be somewhat grandiose or grand in their goals, but also a bit superficial. They might come across as too good to be true, and they often take people in initially because of their charm. But in terms of their emotions, they don't process emotions in the same way that other people do, in that they tend to lack empathy. They lack remorse. Rather than appreciating how other people feel through a kind of emotional empathy, it's more they figure out what other people react to, how they can push their buttons or how they can pull their strings or how they can, in a sense, use people based on people's fears or skills or values. That they learn what makes people tick and then influence them that way. But when they deceive people that way, no empathy or remorse. In their lifestyle, they tend to be quite impulsive and irresponsible. So even though they end up sometimes in top positions, they don't do the laborious long-term work that a number of people do to pursue long-term goals. They're more looking at an easier way of getting some payoff or gain for themselves. And so they often are using other people in that way. So they're somewhat parasitic in their lifestyle. Then in terms of their behaviour, they're often somewhat antisocial, and that can show up as, say, poor anger control, being quite impulsive in different ways, acting in ways that we wouldn't expect from someone in that particular position. They might go into a rage quite easily, and then just moments afterwards seem completely normal. But there's an impulsivity and often anger associated with that, and often a trail of antisocial behaviour.